Welcome to the Brunch Club. This is where we raise a glass and champion female talent and leadership everywhere, and where sparkling is always encouraged. We toast to all of the amazing, diversely faceted women out there, filling your cup with inspiration and encouragement. Our guests are here to share their personal stories, experiences with careers, family, parenting, equality, mentorship, and advice. Welcome to the Brunch Club. Hi, I'm Rachel Swoboda. Welcome back to another episode of the Brunch Club. I'm so glad that you guys are here with us today, and I am so glad that Lynne is here with me today. I'm Lynne. I let all my guests introduce themselves, so I want you to go ahead and tell everybody who you are and what you do officially.
Thank you, Rachel. I'm Lynne Bolduc. I'm a partner with the law firm of FitzGerald, Kreditor, Bolduc in Risbrough. I've been practicing for so long now that I'm finally good at it. But
she's the best. Yes.
I run my firm's corporate and securities department, and that means I represent businesses with startups, forming contracts, mergers and acquisitions, and exit strategies, including going public. My firm is a business law firm, and we represent businesses in everything they need, including litigation, employment law, tax, and intellectual property.
Okay, wow. I mean, I want to be like you when I grow up. Wow. That's amazing that you handle all of that. And you've been doing this for how long?
About 30 years now.
Okay, so Lynne has been practicing law for 30 years. Mm-hmm. You're beyond good at it. You are able to work with all these different people and all these different changing laws. And while she's also raised your daughter, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, so I'm going to pick up right where we left off because we were chatting before the show a little bit about, and I learned, you said something and I said, just wait. You have to say this on camera because I didn't know. So talk to me about, and I'm just going to jump right in here, about being a mother, raising your daughter. How have you done that? She's older than my kids, so you're like a glimpse into my future. So how has that been for you?
Fun, exciting, challenging, stressful. But I did not have the traditional so-called route to law school and to becoming a lawyer. I started law school the day my daughter started kindergarten. I dropped my daughter off at kindergarten, and then I drove to my first law school class. I threw up out the car window along the way because I was so nervous, and then I went into contracts 1.
Okay, wait, no, all right. Now, how did you decide to go to law school before that? Back up like one step further.
My stepfather was a lawyer.
Okay.
And so I've really been in this business all my life. I started working at his law firm when I was 15 years old.
Okay, so you were around it. Mm-hmm. So you knew what it was going to be like.
Yes, and I loved it.
And you loved it then. Okay, but you didn't go right away to law school.
No, because life intervenes, and I became a single mother in between.
Okay,
all of that.
Got it. So I'm a single mom, so I get it. Being a single mom is very special. I mean, I truly, actually, sometimes I've been asked, like, Rachel, how do you do all the things that you do? And I'm like, well, it's because I'm a single mom that I actually can do these things. I get to give 100% time and attention to my kids. I get to like be in total mom mode or total work mode, and it's not like I have to divide my attention. Whereas I think a lot of moms struggle with the balance between giving time and attention to their kids, to their husbands. So all I'm saying is everyone's got a different path and like different challenges on that path. So, okay, so you're a single mom and you decided that you were going to go to law school. Mm-hmm. And were you scared? Were you excited? How'd you feel?
I just had to do it. And I think that's sort of the point that I want to bring across. I mean, it wasn't easy. I had to work. Mm-hmm. I had to take care of a child. I went to law school part-time. I worked full-time because I needed money.
Yep.
And I had to study because law school, you read about 100 pages a day. But what I did is we would go to McDonald's, and she would go in the play place at McDonald's and play in the balls for like 4 hours. And I would sit there with children screaming and balls flying at me, and I would sit there and do all my reading and do all my briefing, and that's how I got it done.
Oh my God.
So,
okay. See,
now she's a lawyer too.
She is?
Yep.
I didn't know that either.
Yeah.
So, okay, how old is she?
She's 37.
She's 37. Oh my God. You look amazing, by the way. Wow.
Started young.
Oh my God. and she's a lawyer, so congratulations.
Thank you.
I mean, my daughter's 13. I've got a ways to go, but that's makes me feel optimistic. I like that. That's good. Same kind of law as you or different?
She does mergers and acquisitions, and she used to work for me at my law firm.
Okay.
And she'll tell you that she quit, but I'll tell you that I fired her. So it's sort of somewhere in between.
Classic.
But, yep, she works at another law firm now, and she recently made partner at her law firm.
Oh
and I'm
my
like, how
God.
did that happen? You've only been
Wow.
practicing for a couple of years. No, she's been practicing for 11 years.
Well, and she grew up around it.
yeah, yep.
So,
I brought her when she was a baby in her little seat
okay.
to my stepfather's law office.
Oh my
And
goodness.
my mother was his secretary, and I was her assistant. And the baby was there, and she was very good. She wouldn't cry when clients were in the office or
You
anything.
guys are a
so
whole family
Yeah.
of attorneys.
we
Okay.
grew up in it. And
Yeah.
it's not, to me, it's not work, it's not an office, it's home, and it's
Yeah.
life. Because that's where the people are, and you're there. It's just part of your life. It's not a job.
Well, I love your firm, by the way.
Oh,
the
thank you.
culture, the people, they're so nice, they're so warm, they're so caring. I think that is very unique, and you don't find that
Mm-hmm. You don't.
regularly.
That's why I've been there for like 21 years.
So the firm that you work for, not only are they a bunch of amazing people in Orange County who are philanthropic and, you know, really care about the community, but you also started this initiative, this group for women that I would love for you to talk about a little bit too.
Sure.
Yeah.
That's the Women's Business Development Initiative. And we started that, I think, 13 years ago. And it was sort of back in the day a bit. And it was to beat the boys club. And I don't know if we have a boys club anymore or not, but I'm not going to go into all of that. But men often make deals on the golf course. They go for drinks after work, and that's where deals get done. That's where you get clients. Women sometimes still don't have that opportunity because you have childcare issues. You have to get home, you have to make dinner, whatever, pick up the kids and all of that. So we decided to start a group that met at lunch. Because if you're a working woman, you can typically do lunch because that's when you have your nanny or childcare or what have you, or they're in school.
Yeah, it's before school pickup. I got asked even earlier today if I wanted to go to an evening networking thing, and I said, "Oh no, sorry. From like 2 o'clock to 7, I'm in school pickup and sports and driving and homework, and there's just no way." So okay, so it's a lunch, and I was so honored. Lynne invited me to join, and I went to my first lunch a couple weeks ago. I got to tell you, I was very moved.
Oh, good.
It was an amazing cross section of these powerful women, and they're not all lawyers. They were all different walks of life, but they were all successful in their own industry and field. And I was inspired by every single woman who was there, and some of them were virtually too. But it was the only time I've ever been in a meeting that were half person or in person and half virtual, where everybody felt like they were all in it together.
And
The
we
energy was
did
good.
that because, again, maybe you have a meeting, so you couldn't make the meeting because you don't have time to get to our in-person meeting or what have you. So we do Zoom and in person. So that way, to be more inclusive. And what if you have a child care issue that day? So that's what the whole group is designed about.
I've gone to a lot of networking things and a lot of different groups. I do not join them all, but this one I was like, oh, maybe they'll let me join.
Oh, I was so glad. Because I guess it started off as networking and referrals, but now these people are my friends.
Yeah.
And we used to have one social event every year and at the holidays, and then
Okay.
we increased it to one in the summer and one at the holidays. Now we have 4. Because sometimes we'll just go for happy hour and have drinks and chat because we enjoy each other.
Well, and I think as working professional women and mothers, we don't have a lot of extra time for superfluous friends. But I also still recognize that I need and I want friends who are, professional women, mothers, who I have things in common with, who are equally as busy. But yet also I love that you guys have carved out time for each other, and I'm grateful to be joining you guys.
Oh, we're happy to have you.
Yeah, so thank you. Now, I also wanted to bring up something totally unwork related, but you did something I think it was a month ago or something-ish. You went on vacation, like a real vacation where she wasn't working, at least not that I was aware of. And I mean, how did you do that? And how often do you get to do that? I want to hear all about it.
I don't get to do it very often.
Okay.
It had been 18 months since my last vacation.
Okay.
Because I have a good team, but a small team. We have about 5 people. Most of them are women in the securities department, which is sort of interesting.
Yep.
But my senior associate, she had gone on maternity leave. So, of course,
Okay.
I had to be there because I didn't have her. And then transitioning back. So it took a while to get on the vacation.
Okay. All right.
And I didn't take big vacations early on in my career because I had the child.
Yep.
And I was busy, like, trying to build a career.
Yes.
But I started to do that once she was through college and she was through law school and she was situated. Finally, I could take a breath and go with my husband on vacation, and a real vacation. So we didn't do that for a long time, and I didn't travel for business for a long time. But after a while, there is that opportunity. And that's how also I increased my business, by going around to conferences and things like that.
Yeah, I think that there's a time to have it all. And I think that the saying is, right, you can have it all, but you can't have it all at the same time. Isn't that the saying?
I think so. Or
Yeah.
all at once.
Yes,
Something.
something like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I love hearing that you're able to do that, because it gives me kind of hope and like something to aspire to look at Lynne and be like, okay, she was a single mom. She raised a successful daughter, and now she's at the point in her career where she's taking these great vacations. If she could do it, I can do it too. And I think that that's part of this whole show. That's part of why I like getting these powerful women together, is because everybody can relate to somebody who they can aspire to be like, or get ideas from of how they did it. And I think growing up, we didn't have a lot of examples of women who had come before us. Mm-hmm. So when you were growing up and you were watching your dad as an attorney, right? I mean, were there a lot of women? Have you had a lot of female role models? How did that work?
It was all men.
All men.
It was all men in my father's law firm.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously my mother was a secretary. And I started off as a legal secretary. Mm-hmm. And then I became a paralegal. And when I was a paralegal, the attorneys would give me their work to do. And so I was doing the lawyer work, but I wasn't getting the lawyer pay.
Ah.
And that's when I decided, I need to get the lawyer pay.
Yes.
Yes. And that's when I decided to go to law school, when my daughter was 5 years old.
So, I went to law school. I don't know if I ever told you that.
I didn't know that.
I
So you know all about what I'm talking about with the homework and the reading.
Well, although I have to tell you, I knew after a year that it wasn't for me. It wasn't the right fit. But I did throw up in my car.
In the car, not out the window. See, at least I made it out
Oh
the
my!
window.
I was so nervous.
See?
I was so nervous. I don't normally tell people that story because it wasn't my brightest moment. But
It's funny.
but I just was like, I knew that it was an amazing profession, but it wasn't my gift. Yeah. So I quickly course corrected into a job at an advertising agency and working for a woman named Renee Frazier, which I think you know Renee. She's involved in the Women in Boards 20 by 20, and then
yeah.
I think they changed it to
50-50
now
women on boards.
50-50 women on boards. And so you advocate for a lot of women in leadership positions. And do you want to talk about that a little bit too?
Oh, yeah. That's sort of my passion project, is women on boards, because there's a huge discrepancy. I represent companies and public companies, and there's a huge discrepancy. I mean, there were like 0 women on boards, never mind as the chairperson of a board.
It's huge.
So I joined 2020 Women on Boards, and their goal was to have 20% of public company boards be comprised of women by the year 2020. They achieved that by the year 2019.
Yay!
So now we are 50-50 women on boards, because there should be 50% women on boards.
Yep.
There have been 2 diversity initiatives that I also have been following. California used to have a requirement for public companies to have diverse members on their boards. That was overturned recently by the California Supreme Court. And that's currently under appeal. I was shocked when that happened.
Yeah, that's terrible.
NASDAQ, the stock exchange, they also have a diversity initiative, and that was just challenged and it was upheld.
Okay.
So
So
we're 50-50 there, but maybe California will get it back. And I hate that we have to do that. Mm-hmm. I wish people were just, rewarded based upon their qualifications, but perhaps we have to have initiatives right now until it becomes the norm.
Yeah, I think that, all of these steps that we take forward as women for equality and for diversity. Like those paths continue to need to be, forged over and over again. It doesn't just stick. It's like the weeds grow back, and we got to keep going.
That's exactly what happened.
Yeah. So anyone that's watching today that wants to reach out to you, get in touch with you, what's the best way?
Oh, my law firm's website, FKBRlegal.com, and I'm on LinkedIn.
Yep. Yes, you are. And definitely, reach out to Lynne if you're looking for any legal support, but also if you're a professional woman who's interested in maybe getting involved in any of the women's on boards or the other, networking organizations that you're a part of.
Absolutely.
It'd be great. So thank you for joining us today, and I look forward to seeing you on the next episode of the Brunch Club. Bye.
Thank you for having me. Bye.
Thanks for stopping by the Brunch Club. It's been our pleasure to share this time with you. We look forward to bringing you more sparkling inspiration next weekend. If you have feedback, topics, or want to nominate someone to be a guest on the show, please reach out to us at rachel@sundaybrunchagency.com. Cheers!